Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a hanging sloth. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, this large one, the size is 19 centimeters wide by 17 centimeters or 7.5 inches by 6 3/4 inches. This medium sloth, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 13 centimeters wide by 11 centimeters or 5 inches wide by 4.5 inches. This small sloth, worked using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, is 10 centimeters wide by 7 centimeters or 4 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton today, so the size will be a bit smaller than this one, but I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll be using Catona cotton today. I've got 157 root beer, 515 emerald, 105 bridal white, 162 black coffee, 115 hot red, 404 English tea and 110 black. I'll only need a tiny bit of these two, so if you'd prefer you could embroider the nose on, and you could probably use the bridal white instead of the English tea if you'd prefer. I've got a 2.5mm crochet hook, a darning needle to weave in the ends, scissors and sewing thread and a needle to stitch it together. I'm starting on the body just at the back there. I've got my 157 the root beer and I start with 16 chain. Now that's my 16 chain. This one's going to be a bit darker than this one here. For row 1 I work 2 single crochet in the second chain from the hook. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet, put your hook into the stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook and take your hook with this yarn at the end through both loops. So I need another single crochet in that stitch. Then I work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And then 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 stitches. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook and take your hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops. So we needed 1 half double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Then we work 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. For a double crochet we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook, take our hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 more loops. So we needed 1 double crochet into each of the next 5. I've done 1, so into each of the next 4. Then we work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 stitches. one single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochet into our last stitch. Now the different stitches just gives the back a bit of a curve. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn our work. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch. Then we're going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch to the last stitch. We'll work 2 single crochet into the last stitch and we'll have 19 stitches. So after our 2 single crochet in the first stitch, work 1 single crochet in each stitch till you have 1 left. I have 1 stitch left. I work 2 single crochet in the last stitch. For row 3, we start with 2 chain and turn our work. We work 2 half double crochet in the first stitch. Then we'll work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the last stitch. We'll work 2 half double crochet in the last stitch and we'll have 21 stitches. So after our 2 half double crochet in the first stitch, work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the last stitch. And work 2 half double crochet in the last stitch. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn, and we work 1 single crochet in each of the 21 stitches. For row 5, we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 2 half double crochet into the first stitch, then 1 single crochet in each stitch to the last stitch. We'll work 2 half double crochet into the last stitch and we'll have 23 stitches. So after our 2 half double crochet in the first stitch, work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the last stitch. And into our last stitch we work 2 half double crochet. For row 6 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of our 23 stitches. For row 7 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 8 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in each stitch till we have 2 left. We'll work a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches and we'll have 22 stitches. So work 1 single crochet in each stitch till we have 2 left. I have 2 stitches left. I work a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. So I put my hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, and hook into the last stitch and bring up a loop. I've got 3 loops on the hook. I put the yarn around the hook and take my hook with the yarn at the end through the 3 loops. For row 9, I start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 22 stitches. For row 10, I start with 1 chain and turn. I work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. Then I work 1 single crochet in each stitch till I have 2 stitches left. I'll work a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches and I'll have 20 stitches. So after my joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches, I work 1 single crochet in each stitch till I have 2 left. I have 2 stitches left. I work a joined single crochet over those last 2 stitches. Now I'm going to start on the head there. I start with 1 chain and turn. I work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. Then 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And a joined single crochet over the following 2 stitches. For row 12, I start with 1 chain and turn. I work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 13, I start with 1 chain and turn. I work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. 3 double crochet into the next stitch. That's a treble using UK terms. and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. And that's the head done. We fasten off. And that's the body and head part done. Now for this front leg, we join in the same stitch as the last stitch worked of row 10. So this stitch here, and we work 1 chain. We work a joined single crochet over the same stitch as our join and the next stitch, and then work 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in each of the first 3 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 4 stitches. For row 4, we start with 2 chain and turn our work. We work 1 half double crochet in each of the first 2 stitches, and 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. For row 6, we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in the first stitch and a joined half double crochet over the last 2 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the last stitch and bring up a loop, then yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. For row 9, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. And we fasten off And that's the body with the head and the front leg done. I'll just weave in the ends and then we'll work this back leg. Now for this back leg, we join our cotton in the fourth last stitch. So this stitch here, and we work one chain. Then we work one single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then one single crochet in each of the last 3 stitches. For row 2, we start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the 4 stitches. For row 3, we start with one chain and turn. We work one single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches, and one half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 4, we start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 5, we start with one chain and turn and work one single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. And for row 6, we start with one chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and one single crochet in the last stitch. And that's the sloth's body done except for the neatening row. For the neatening row, we start with one chain and we're going to turn our work because I'm going to have my sloth facing in that direction. And we work a slip stitch in each stitch around. So we put our hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. So like that. Into the corners I'll work one chain and then slip stitch into the same stitch. And down the side I'll just find a suitable place not too far from the edge to put my hook and work a slip stitch in each stitch around. Now I'll continue around working a slip stitch in each stitch, and when I get back to the top of the back leg I'll fasten off and I'll weave in my ends, and I'll be back with the 404, the English T, and I'll work the claws. Now these claws are worked the same for both of the legs. We join our 404, the English T, to the first stitch along the leg, and work 2 chain. We slip stitch in the next stitch along the leg and work 2 chain and slip stitch in the following stitch and work 2 chain and slip stitch in the point there and fasten off. And the next ones work the same, just join in the point there and work 2 chain, slip stitch in the next stitch and work 2 chain and then slip stitch in the following stitch and work 2 chain and slip stitch in the point and fasten off. And that's the claws done. Now for the face part, I'll be using my 105, the Bridal White, and I start with 6 chain. I work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet in the following stitch, 1 half double crochet in the next stitch, and a single crochet in the last stitch. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 3 we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet in each stitch to the last stitch, and 1 half double crochet in the last stitch. Now we're starting on the first side. We start with 2 chain and turn, and we're going to work a joined half double crochet over the first 3 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the following stitch and bring up a loop. We've got lots of loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take our hook with this yarn at the end through all the loops, and we fasten off. For the second side we join in the third last stitch, so we've missed 1 stitch, and join in the next stitch. And we work 2 chain. And we're going to work a joined half double crochet over the same stitches at our join and the next 2 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the same stitch as our chain and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook into the last stitch and bring up a loop, and then yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. And that's the face done except for the neatening row. For the neatening row we start with 1 chain, we don't need to turn, and we work a slip stitch in each stitch around. So I'll continue working around and I'll be back when I get near the end of the row. When I get back to the beginning of the row, I slip stitch in the top of the first stitch and fasten off. And that's the face done. For these face markings, I've got my 162, the black coffee, and I make a magic loop. Now there's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I just put my hook on the yarn. I'm going to leave a bit of a longer end because I'm going to use the ends to stitch it to the face. I bring the yarn over the hook and then I bring the long end over the short end to make a circle. I put the yarn around the hook and bring my hook with the yarn at the end through the circle, and there's my magic loop. For row 1 I start with 2 chain and I work 1 half double crochet into my circle, and I pull the circle tight, so I take hold of the tail and just ease it in. For row 2 I start with 2 chain and turn. I work 1 half double crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the top of the chain, and I fasten off. I've left a bit of a longer tail than I normally would to stitch it down. So that's one of the face markings. For the second face marking I make a magic loop and work 2 chain. I work 1 half double crochet in the circle and pull the circle tight. And then for row 2 I start with 1 chain and turn. I work a single crochet into the stitch and a half double crochet in the top of the chain. And I fasten off, leaving a bit of a longer tail. And that's the other face marking. Now for the nose I've got my 110, the black, but you could embroider the nose on if you'd prefer. I make a magic loop, leaving a bit of a longer tail to stitch it down, and I work 1 chain and work 2 single crochet into my circle. I pull the circle tight and fasten off, leaving a bit of a longer tail to stitch it down. and that's the nose. It's just a tiny little triangle. Now these two far legs are worked the same. I've got my 157, the root beer, and I start with 3 chain. I miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 chain. For row 2, I start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. For row 3, I start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 4, I start with 1 chain and turn. I work 2 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the last stitch. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. For row 6, we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 2 half double crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 4 stitches. And for row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. And that's the far leg done, except for the neatening row. We don't turn our work, we work 1 chain and work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around. So I'll continue working this leg and I'll be back when I get to the end of the row. When I get back to the beginning of the row, I fasten off. And that's the first far leg done. For the second one, we start with 3 chain We miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 chain. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the last stitch. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. For row 6, we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 2 half double crochet in the first stitch, and 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 4 stitches. And for row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For our neatening row, we start with 1 chain, we don't turn, and we work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around. So I'll finish this neatening row and I'll be back with the 162, the black coffee, and I'll work the branch. Now for the branch, I've got my 162, the black coffee, and I work 42 chain. Now we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Then we work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 3 stitches. Now we're going to make a bend in our branch, so we're going to work a joined half double crochet over the next 3 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook, hook into the following stitch and bring up a loop, and then yarn around the hook and hook into the next one and bring up a loop. Then we put the yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then we work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 4 stitches. Then we work a joined double crochet over the next 2 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. Then we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the following stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. We have 3 loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then we work 1 double crochet in each of the following 12 stitches. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. So 1 double crochet in each of the following 12 stitches. Now we're going to work 1 treble into each of the next 8 stitches. A treble is a double treble using UK terms. For a treble we put the yarn around the hook twice, hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, and then yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through the remaining 2 loops. So we need 7 more treble. So we start with our yarn around the hook twice. Then we work 1 double treble in each of the remaining stitches. A double treble is a triple treble using UK terms. We put the yarn around the hook 3 times, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, then yarn around the hook, hook through 2 more loops, yarn around the hook. Take your hook through 2 more loops and then yarn around the hook, hook through the remaining 2 loops. And we work a double treble in each remaining stitch. And then we fasten off. And that's the first part of the branch done. For the second part of the branch, we're going to join our cotton 6 stitches down from the narrow end on the bottom side. So just in here, about 4 stitches up from that curve. And we work 10 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 3 chain. Then we work 5 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each stitch right back to our main branch piece. So just in the side there and then back until we get to our main branch. We slip stitch into the branch and fasten off. Now I'll weave in those ends and I'll be back with the green and the red to make the leaves and the flowers. For the leaves, I've got 3, but you could make as many as you'd like. I've got my 515, the emerald, and I make a magic loop. I work 2 chain and we work 2 half double crochet into our circle. And pull the circle tight. For row 2, we start with 2 chain and turn, and we work a joined half double crochet over the 2 stitches. So we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook, hook into the second stitch and bring up a loop, then yarn around the hook and take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then we work 1 chain and we join it to the branch with a slip stitch. Now I'll join one just in here and I fasten off. I'll probably join another one just in there and another one in there. So I make a magic loop and work 2 chain. I work 2 half double crochet in the circle and pull the circle tight. For row 2, I start with 2 chain and turn and work a joined half double crochet over the 2 stitches. Then I work 1 chain and join it to the branch with a slip stitch. And fasten off. And for the last one I start with a magic loop and work 2 chain. I work 2 half double crochet in the circle and pull the circle tight. For row 2, I start with 2 chain and turn and work a joined half double crochet over the 2 stitches. And work 1 chain, then join it to the branch. And fasten off. I'm going to work red flowers on my branch again. You could work any colour, or you wouldn't need the flowers if you didn't want them. Now I've got the 115, the hot red, and I make a magic loop. And I work 3 chain and slip stitch in my circle. And I repeat that 4 more times, 3 chain and slip stitch in the circle, 3 chain and slip stitch in the circle, and I need 2 more petals. I've got the 5 petals of 3 chain and slip stitch in the circle. I pull the circle tight and fasten off. And that's my first flower. I'll make another one. I make a magic loop and work 3 chain and slip stitch in the circle, and repeat that 4 more times, 3 chain and slip stitch in the circle. And then I pull the circle tight and fasten off. Now I'll make another flower off camera. Now that's all my pieces, so I'll weave in the rest of the ends and I'll be back and we'll put it together. There's all the pieces. I've got the body, the far legs, the branch, the 3 flowers, the 2 face markings, a nose and the face. The first things I'll do is attach the face markings to the face. The pointy part goes towards the middle, but it doesn't reach the middle, and the flat part goes to the edge. So just in like that, I'll get them as even as I can, and I'll attach the flowers just in a bit of a clump there. You could attach them with beads, but I'll probably just use a French knot in either white or yellow. Next I'll attach the nose to the face, just in between the face markings, and I'll embroider the eyes on the face markings just in around there. I'll probably use a French knot for those as well. Next I attach the face to the body, just in there. Next I attach the sloth to the branch. I leave a fair gap between the end of the branch and the first leg. The claws go just above the branch, so in about there. Next I attach the far legs. The narrow part goes to the top. The front one goes nearly to the other front leg and it goes under the branch. So in about there, and the back one slopes towards the back. It goes in about there. The last thing I'll do is embroider these claws to the far legs. I'll use the 404, the English tea, the same colour as I used for these claws. So I'll do that and I'll be back to show you the finished sloth. And there's the finished sloth. The size is 16 centimetres wide by 13 centimetres or 6 inches wide by 5 inches high. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns, the details of my Patreon and the details of my Facebook group. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.